Classical management theories are broadly grounded in the assumption that work is a rational undertaking that is done in order to make money, and given that, the behavior of people at work will be fairly predictable and easy to understand. The trouble is, that isn't always true. Work often isn't a rational, logical, or reasonable process, and to many people, work is more than just a means of making money. The need to study and understand human behavior and look at management in this light began to develop in the early 1900s. The behavioral approach is a view of management that stresses understanding the importance of people's needs and attitudes within formal organizations.
And what we'll do, we'll bring up the Hawthorne studies, if you would, that took place here in Chicago in the 30s.
Beginning in 1924, a group of researchers from MIT and Harvard, led by Professor Elton Mayo, began conducting experiments at Western Electric's Hawthorne plant in Cicero, Illinois. They didn't know it at the time, but their research would span 9 years before they could come to a conclusion.
We were trying to find out what circumstances in the workplace had the greatest effect on worker output. We experimented with changes in lighting, number of hours the employees worked, rest periods, incentive pay, and hot lunches. It seemed that none of these factors had any direct link to output. But we found that when being interviewed, the workers lost their shyness and fear. They began to feel valued by their co-workers and supervisors. Our study showed that good social relationships in the workplace is what produces more output.
The Hawthorne experiments marked a change in the direction of management theory and practice. The systems approach to management theory views organizations as sets of interrelated parts to be managed as a whole with the purpose of achieving a common goal. As systems, organizations consist of inputs, transformation processes, outputs, and feedback. One of the great management thinkers of this half-century is W. Edwards Deming. Deming has been credited with, among other things, resurrecting Japan's economy in the years that followed the Second World War.
Bring up Deming. Okay.
He devoted much of his life to spreading his message of continuous improvement and statistical process control to improve quality. Deming thought it was necessary to integrate the theories that came earlier into an approach in which all dimensions of the organization and its environment are considered as part of one system.
About 3.5 years ago, Gordon read an article in Harvard Business Review on Dr. Deming and his 14 points, and he showed it to myself and Dick Bentley. We met with some people, and we attended the Deming 4-day seminar and began to get a picture of what this possibility could mean for the company.
Some of Deming's theories enabled Marshall Industries, a California electronics company, to make a commitment to total quality within their organization.
We see the business as very dependent. Each system in our company is dependent on the next system. Both our suppliers, our customers, and our internal customer relationships have a tremendous dependency on one another. This requires everybody to work together like an orchestra or a football team, where each person has a job to do, but no one job is more important than the other.
During the 1960s, the phrase, "it depends," began to appear regularly in management writing. "It depends" characterized the contingency approach. The contingency approach emphasizes identifying the key variables in each situation, understanding the relationships among the variables, and recognizing the causes and effects of managerial decisions. Generally, the contingency approach is considered to be an outgrowth of the systems approach. From the classical approach to the contingency approach, and from Frederick Taylor to W. Edwards Deming, management thinking has evolved and improved. As ideas change and new theories are developed, future generations will benefit from continued efforts to improve the quality of work and the quality of life in the workplace.